Hi, Anna here. I run Agile Delivery, and my job is simple: protect companies' investments by running delivery well. This diagram is how I explain my delivery method. It's a blend of PRINCE2, managing successful programs, or MSP, safe, scaled agile, and Scrum. Roughly, PRINCE2 gives me the governance and controls, MSP keeps me honest on leadership and benefits, safe helps when we have to scale, and Scrum is the day to day engine. I frame the journey in four phases: pre project, project initiation, agile delivery, then scaled agile, and continuous improvement. Underneath all of this is governance with stage gates. That just means we pause at sensible points, check what we know, and decide if we keep going. Phase one is pre project strategic initiation. This is where you get the vision, the objectives, and a reality check on feasibility. Program management and strategic leadership comes first. Someone has to own the outcomes, fund it, make decisions, and unblock the work. If leadership is weak or absent, delivery gets messy fast. Then I have project management pre project. In PRINCE2 terms, this is starting up a project. You take the mandate, choose the approach, learn from past work, pick the initial team, and plan what proper initiation will look like. The project mandate is the trigger. It is the basic: why are we doing this? Who is backing it? And what authority the team has to start. Business case development and review is where we get clear on costs, expected benefits, and why this is worth doing now. I keep reviewing it as we go because the world changes and the case can weaken. The project brief builds on the project mandate and the business case. It adds early scope, constraints, assumptions, risks, and what done roughly means, so we're not guessing later. You will also see scaled agile strategic context here. Even if teams will work in sprints, you still need some upfront direction. Which outcomes matter most, how priority and funding decisions will be made, what the value streams are, and what guardrails people should work within. Without that, Agile turns into a weekly argument about what matters. Then there is target operating model design. This is the picture of how the organization should run when the change lands: processes, roles, and capabilities. You can discover your way forward in tiny increments, but on big multi-million pound transformations, I still want a clear destination and a sensible scope before we start building at speed. Phase two is project initiation and setup. This is where strategy turns into a project we can actually run. The project initiation document, or PID, pulls it together in one place: what we are delivering, how we'll run it, what it will cost, what risks we can see, and how decisions will get made. Then we appoint the right resources and lock down roles and responsibilities. I want the right people, and I want everyone clear on who owns what so work doesn't stall. Next, we break down the scope. That might be a work breakdown structure, flow diagrams, work packages, or a mix. The goal is to make the work visible, sized, and easier to plan. Risk and issue identification and management needs to be real, not a spreadsheet nobody reads. Log it, assign owners, review it often, and escalate early. Planning, control, governance, and communication is the how we run the room part. This is your planning cycles, steering forums, decision rights, and comms rhythm. Benefits management and realization is where a lot of programs go wrong. Shipping outputs is not the same as getting benefits. We need clear measures, benefit owners, and honest tracking, even when it's uncomfortable. And stakeholder engagement and change leadership runs through all of this. I like to co design with as many stakeholders as is realistic. Top down can be faster, but buy in is usually thinner and adoption can drag later. Quick warning: if phase one or two is rushed or sloppy, phase three will punish you for it. You can recover, but it costs time and money. Phase three is agile delivery and execution. This is where we build and deliver using the approach that fits the situation. Product goal and vision comes first. If you have a contract, you often have a version already, but I still like to refine it as we learn because reality has a habit of changing. The project plan continues here too. You might start with a V1 earlier, then you grow it into something you can steer with: releases, milestones, dependencies, and what we think the path looks like. If we are working in Scrum, we form a Scrum team. At minimum, I want a product owner, people who build, and people who test. A Scrum Master can help, but the team still needs to own delivery. Quality assurance is how we stop speed turning into rework, but build quality in with clear acceptance criteria, good testing, and checks that run often. If delivery is more enterprise scale, I bring in PI planning. Think of it as a regular planning event, often quarterly, where multiple teams plan work together so their work fits and dependencies are not a surprise. Status reports need to be high quality at this point, not glossy, just clear where we are, what has changed, what the risks are, what decisions we need, and what the forecast looks like. For Agile scope, I expect a breakdown from epics to features to stories to task. That keeps work traceable and it helps us deliver smaller, valuable chunks first so progress stacks up over time. Change enablement runs alongside delivery. Comms training, readiness, and support are not things you should leave until the end. You keep bringing people along while the product is being built. Then we run the Scrum cycle. We start with a product backlog. We do sprint planning to pick what matters next. We create a sprint backlog with the work we commit to. We run the sprint, usually 1 to 4 weeks. Each day we have a daily Scrum to surface blockers and adjust. We refine the backlog as we learn. At the end, we do a sprint review to show what we built and get feedback because feedback is a gift. Then we do a sprint retro to agree how we'll work better next sprint. You'll also see alpha, beta, live, and retirement in the picture. That is a simple product lifecycle. Try things early in alpha, widen the use in beta, run it properly in live, then retire it when it's no longer needed so you don't carry dead weight forever. Phase 4 is scaled agile and continuous improvement. This is what keeps delivery healthy when you've got multiple teams and a lot of moving parts. DevOps and continuous improvement and continuous deployment is the delivery pipeline. It's how teams build, test, and deploy safely and often without tripping each other up. Architectural frameworks and solution design give teams standards and patterns to follow. That keeps the system coherent and stops every team solving the same problem in a different way. Shared services and communities of practice matter more than people expect. Shared services are specialist support across teams like security, UX, platform, data ops, and release management. Communities of practice are how people keep skills and standards consistent, share lessons, and avoid repeating mistakes. Finally, measure and grow. This is where metrics based reporting lives, and it's where OKRs and KPIs fit. Pick a small set of measures that tell you about value, flow, quality, and outcomes, then use them to learn and improve, not to punish your teams. Last thing, this is a delivery best practice framework. Not every box applies every time, and I adjust it to fit the environment, but it's a strong way to diagnose delivery. When something feels off, I can usually point to one of these areas and say, we need to tighten this up. And just to be clear, I'm not covering every management framework that exists here. This is just a delivery view of the world from should we do this all the way through to how do we keep improving once it's live. Hope this helps and feel free to use it.